Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 2nd of April, and we'll start with the high flyers. Quite a little bit of a turnaround. Not shocking. I mean, we saw that they were oversold and that they were likely to pop, but unfortunately, given where the readings are, they're going to have to do a lot more than they've done in order to sustain any move. And that was what we were pointing out the other day. Nothing's changed with that. And that's the beauty of utilizing the short time frames for the inside moves, if you want to call it that, from a daily standpoint. Understanding overall, though, that you've got that daily viewpoint, which is going to ultimately impact it. So they make for some nice quick trades. As we scroll through the NASDAQ, and boy, what a change for the NASDAQ. You see how much more green there was there. And then a little bit of softening from the S&P, but still overall, it's mostly bullish readings. And then we had the Dow, which was super bullish. Look at that. All these new cells popping up. Go figure. How's that possible? We're supposed to be breaking out to new and unbelievable heights. You know, it's kind of funny, too, because it was a few months back, right as the Fed was talking about tapering, and I said that was a bunch of baloney, that there's no way that the Fed will stop the unending pump and buying of assets because they have no choice. There's no growth, and as long as there's no choice, there's always going to be the fact that they're going to artificially minimize interest rates, and invariably that is going to force this market higher. And I keep saying it. Yes, we're going to have retraces and we want to take advantage of them, but by and large, there's just no other way around the asset inflation of the market, simply because there's no other place to put your money. And the Omega converted readings. First, we had the steel moving higher, continues higher. Green actually passes over, and even a more bullish stance from the ES. The cyan is below red and white, so all cylinders pointing to the upside. Yeah, concern, not overbought completely. It just means what this is telling you is that while price is rising, it's rising under not a whole lot of pressure from shorts, which is allowing the inflation, but you're not seeing a ton of new buyers, because if there were a lot of buyers coming in here, we would start to see the extreme histogram come down even as price escalates, and that hasn't happened yet. But this is kind of a normal move off of MBI, and it can last for 5 or 6 days. The first area we'll be looking at would be steel moving below the green. That would be your first indication of fade of any kind. The NQ, strong turnaround from the dip below the red line and progressing up. It's made a nice turnaround from all its points now. From a daily standpoint, it's interesting when we look at our deep red. The turnaround, you have to be a little bit faster than the red indicates. It's something we see on the 5K. It's helpful because you get a lot of fast moves, but by the time you wait for some of these turnarounds, like all the way to here, you can miss a pretty substantial move, which is typically why we go for a little bit tighter time frame, and we use the daily as our confirmation of it. Now, we talked about the YM and seeing a lot of those sell signs on the Dow. Broke out to the new high. No surprise, we're expecting that. Still nice rise with the red and white, and you have cyan below the red, white, green, but then you just had the steel dip below. That could cause a little bit of difficulty here. If the green doesn't break down, fine from a bullish standpoint, but if it begins to get a pivot in the green, that's going to be more problematic. A little bit of an improvement to start out the day here from its extreme, so some money coming back into the Dow. USO, this also is problematic, I think, for upwards move of the market. If oil is going to be moving lower, that is not an expectation for a higher industrial output in that, which means you've got some growth problems, which we've known that for some time. We've also known the sell signal for gold. No change. Look at how deep that is. Minus 89 now. That's pretty extreme. An interesting one, and this is always fun to look at. Positive extreme right here. In fact, I'll mark it. Pretty straightforward stuff. talk about it when we broke out from here, that eventually we would be coming back to it. Yeah, lo and behold. Nothing complicated about that. SLV, likewise, just starting to turn around. You don't have anything yet. You would need to see the steel dip below the cyan for significant buy signal to take effect. We can look at some of the individual ones. Let me pop up my little chart right there. This was Apple and what it's doing. I know we looked at the negativity that was in Google. Let's see what it's up to. Can't hurt to look at some of these. Why not? It's always neat after a power day. We can see the effects of what took place. Not bad. A little bit of a pivot up, improving the extreme histogram. Could be worth a little carry through, but still likely to retest that low. Netflix was also another one that was pretty weak before, and I had seen a little bit of improvement. So we'll see what it calls for. And this is where it makes it very effective in looking at our intraday setups, because then we can make some reasonable judgments when you get a short signal. Okay, yeah, you've got a pretty good odds with it. Yeah, that's still not great as far as that look goes. Which paint bar are we running? The DOC. That's fine. We should put in the other one as well. Give it a little bit broader view. PCLN was another one that you're likely to see big pops and big drops. That's just the way it works. So, buy signal. Now this was coming off the pretty good sized downslope here from before. And if we put up the previous one, I don't know if I have it on here right now. Can always add it real fast. It becomes very easy. And this is something that I do on several. If I have the DOC, the 15-minute buy sell for those with the indicators, and you can click it, and what will happen is the original one stays on, and this kind of points out the numbers above what we would normally look at as the deep red, and you can see that it's been all over PCLN. It just makes you more cautious when you end up with these signals coming forward. This was a nice one with the extreme fractals as well. What was the upside target from those extreme fractals? 1238. Yeah, it went and hit the 1238. Still in a pretty weak zone, so I would expect quite a bit of that to be retraced, and the low to get revisited in the not too distant future. Just a matter of looking for that steel to come down a little bit. And you know what, we'll look at Tesla. We followed that one for a while, and Facebook. I think Facebook had another buy from its daily, so we'll take a look at that. So Tesla daily put in a buy. Interesting. But it's also within that, so you're not expecting a ton of activity from it. And let's see, Twitter, nothing special there. Facebook also. And so see, these are coming off of the deep swing. You get a violent bounce back. Usually terrifies shorts, and then longs sometimes want to get over exuberant with it. But given this kind of decay with the readings, they don't usually last very long. So it becomes a quick hit, and it's where I start to look then at my mid time frames to find good opportunities to either buy a put or directly short shares. So worth noting it that way. Yeah, CLF continuing to do its thing. Kind of a split right here that potentially could have a little bit more of a downdraft to it from a daily standpoint. We'd have to look at the intradays to gauge as to where that would be a good opportunity to get into. And you can see the climb coming off the ABM here, continue to rise. We can look at the intraday. That's what the intraday looked like from the other day. We continued. We had talked. We were just within the short confines. Turned to the green trend. Proceeded to make an okay move, and then the short signal came in. By the time the return kind of was flat, nothingness, but then the buy signal came in, and that ran fairly well. It just was a strong move from the red-white, but it's overdone now, so you're likely to see some retrace here. They played with it a little bit in the after hours, which they like to do. You get a couple of positive extremes. Well, obviously got positive extreme from the first one, and That's going to give us a retrace value to roughly 1877 range, somewhere in between there. So prospects for the day from that 50,000 chart we looked at on the other screen. I can put up the other one that I use right here. It's a little bit smaller. Nice rise, a little bit steep. That's what often happens with that. It's a matter of waiting for a higher move of the cyan, or your green dips back below. But the fact that you're this far above zero could take some time of just moving across. And then nothing surprising about that. Overall, any dips that happen are likely to get bought up as they take place. It's just going to be now a game of cat and mouse, and that gets more choppy than anything. And well, today being Choppy Wednesday, I can look for that to be fun as well. I will continue to be at my programming desk, but as always, look for me on private Twitter feed, StockTwits, and for indicator subscribers, the Skype feed, and any of you watching this can always join us on the Skype feed should you choose to. As always, trade well.